Hello, everyone. Just wanted to let you know that I'm back on my live. If you know where to find it, you know where to find it. But yeah, so I'm back there. So anyway, just hit the thing on the top of the link at the top of my page. But yeah, I'll see you there. Probably be on for maybe an hour longer. So hopefully, I'll see you all soon. This is Hyanin, of course, logging off. Post. Okay. I don't know, Bernard. One thing I was just hanging out talking with you, and the next everybody was gone. Literally, I went from like having three of you in the room and such to nobody, and you guys weren't responding to anything I said. So I really don't know what happened. I figured shutting down and restarting would be the best thing to do. Yeah. Yep. It's kind of weird, but then again, were you here the night we had the interesting conversations? Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully. Uh hopefully it's not more the same. I mean, that's just weird. But who knows? Oh, let's see. That's fine. Got that taken care of. That was sent. That's done. Now, liquid pain control. Ugh. Yeah, I'm thinking that's what happened. Don't want to seem too paranoid, but yeah. If it ever cuts out like that again, just leave me a message on TikTok. Yeah. This way I can keep you informed, you can keep me informed. World of not expecting that. All right, sound off, guys. Um, it's showing 4 people in the room, so let me know who you all are. I should be able to pull up, I think. I mean, it shows 5 people in the room, but I don't know how to check for who all is in the room. Does that make sense? Because now there's 5 in the room. Huh. Bernard, did I freeze again? Darn it. Okay. It's odd. It says that there are 5 people in the room, but I don't know how to check to see how many people. Oh, you're still there. Hey, Talem. Good to see you. I thought you had disappeared for a little bit. Um, cool. So it's probably you, Jujitsu, Bernard, Matt JT. I have to think of something suitably gutter minded to say when he's back. It's just so weird. It's learning a completely different system. And for all the fun that TikTok is, it's easier to use. But let's be honest, the politics and the way they're suppressing stuff doesn't make it any more fun. Hey, whatever you guys come up with. Remember, I talk about everything and anything, and we were just talking cars. I've always left the various subjects to you guys. Oh, we can have fun. I'd watch you guys on TikTok. When I had some interesting facts or somebody asked me about something, that was the only time I ever really talked. You know, I had much more fun just watching you guys. Well, that and the interesting little factoids that I have. Mm. Did you know that the Egyptians were the very first to have dildos? They found some in one of the burial chambers. Just, they were wood, sanded down to a fine grain. But yeah. Well, they wanted a topic. What is the history of vibrators and such? I need to look that up. Well, I know the history of dildos, but I think vibrators was Victorian times, the first mechanical ones. Yeah, right? You just had to ask that question, Bernard. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Ah, okay. 1883 was the original. Yeah, 1883 was the original version in created into a less cumbersome handheld model dubbed Granny's Hammer. Oh god. I can't wait to tell that one to a few people. I was right. The first mass produced one was 1869 and it was steam powered. Oh my god. Yeah. They used to believe back then that if you then orgasm was a good way of curing what they called hysteria with women being irrational and crazy. Hey Justin, not much. I was just discussing the history of the vibrator. Wow. Hey Jujitsu, how are you? Yeah, right, Justin. You wish. Yeah, mighty good time to join, right? Yeah. We can talk about that's what it was. I was gonna look up just to remember my facts right on the dildo. History history of the not dodo. Dill Okay. The first dildo discovered in a German cave was thought to be used by people 28,000 years ago. Oh yeah, jujitsu. It was Victorian times. I think it was 18. Let's see, I had it right here. Um, yeah, they used to use a hand crank, and then they created one that basically you would be on a table. The center part had a hole cut through, and it was run by like a steam engine from under the table. But the very first handheld version, okay, was let's see, um, yeah, it was 1869, but they have it here. I forget where it was. Oh, okay, 1800s. They had one that they called Granny's Hammer. Anyway, and Sears and Roebuck's used to sell them in those huge catalogs of theirs. I mean, my God. The handheld was elephant tusk? Jesus. But yeah, I mean, can you imagine that back in the 1800s, Sears and Roebuck's catalog? Wow. Yeah, but Justin, I wouldn't be surprised if someone had once made one. It like I could see them finding one in like an Indian from India, um, old crypt or from China. You know, both of those strike me as the type of places where you could find a Tuscan ivory vibe or dildo. That is so cool. That is so very cool. See the interesting things that you find out being around me. Oh, yikes. Ew. That's about as bad as one of my friends who did certain types of armor made a chainmail condom for himself. This thing looked bloody painful. Yes, he was 8 inches, but damn, what a weight to put on that. The history of the chainsaw. Oh, God. Someone actually made an ice skating chainsaw, ice skate, and it was neat. I think he did it just to do it. It had never been used. He did it just to prove that it could be done because he showed it off at Ren Fair. God. Ren Fairs were so interesting. Oh, yeah, Screamer. God only knows. Justin, nah, it's mine. Oh my God, the woman who played the Queen, and we're talking the year that Toby and I met, okay? Right, our feather booth went right up against like a Shakespearean actor's booth. And one night, when everybody was hanging out over there, um, someone had decided to put a penis pump on them and on themselves, and he popped it off while the Queen was there. And she's like, "Oh my God, so big and red," grabbed it and went, "So, can you feel this?" He was curled up in the ground, unable to move. God. Yeah, but I don't share my liquor. Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. Now I'm gonna have to really just wow. Ooh, I wonder if I can look that up. Masturbation through the ages. God. Yeah, let's see. Masturbation through the ages. Oh, damn. Uh, wow. There are apparently cave paintings from like Ice Age, prehistoric times that literally show. God, talk about the first rock. Oh man, instead of Playboy, you had Cave Wall. Okay. Clay figurine that I knew about, 4th millennium BC, from Malta, depicts a woman getting herself off. The Sumerians had it. Men would often use pure oil. Duh. Iron ore. Ugh. God, some of these things seem barbaric. Oh, yeah, and we won't even go into the Greeks. Well, the Greeks always had those interesting bowls and things that people dug up that show all sorts of stuff. Yeah, 550 BC showed a satyr masturbating. But I mean, God, some of this stuff. I'm learning so much just to tell you. You're giving me a hard time. Gee, I thought that's what Toby was for. Now it says 0 people again. Is anyone here? Oh, okay. At Walmart? Okay, we're not going to talk to you then. Okay. No, Matt, you're at Walmart. You don't want to be listening to this at Walmart, okay? We're talking about the history of vibrators and dildos throughout the ages. You know, history and masturbation. Are you really sure you want to be listening to this? Because it goes back quite a ways in history. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, get this. From the look of it, the history of dildos, the very first one, they saw things on a German cave, and it was 28,000 years ago. But that was one of the oldest dildos, or at least that was the oldest dildo they found. Okay, and then the history of the vibrator, because doctors actually thought that orgasms would cure women of hysteria, but it had to be the doctor performing it. Like literally, it was this hand crank device. And so the first ever powered vibrator was like 1860. And it was literally steam engine powered. But how weird is that? Victorian era, which was seen as being rather uptight and repressed, and the cure for hysteria was having an orgasm. Actually, no, jujitsu. This was actually something that was a well documented fact that back then. It was seen as during Victorian times, you only had sex in order to have children. Otherwise, you didn't get off. And that type of stuff was seen as building up certain chemicals that would make you hysterical. And instead of saying, okay, increase your intimate time with the husband, it was, okay, we can deal with this, but it has to be a medically approved procedure. I mean, people were really odd about that back then. Um, and then here in the US, it was like 1868, and that was the first handheld one, and it was known as Granny's Hammer. At least with guys, it was easier to get off, and people didn't think much of it. You know, women were the ones that were supposed to be prim and proper at all times. Heck, even look at the history of the tablecloth. Men were considered such horn dogs that during the Victorian era, just the sight of um the wooden legs of a table were said to be arousing to men. So they created um tablecloths to hide them so as to not unnecessarily arouse the men. And yes, that was its actual name, Matt Granny's Hammer. 1869. I mean, damn. Oh no, 1869 was the first steam powered. It was 1883 that it became handheld and was known as Granny's Hammer. um there were certain things back then, especially in England, where it was more acceptable for guys to play around with guys or to have a mistress because the proper wife was supposed to deny the husband unless they were having a child. And the moment they were pregnant, all that had to stop. And so yeah, the history of it in total is absolutely fascinating. Um the different type of cave art depicting men getting off goes back even further, some 38, 39,000 years ago. And even the Romans, they had a particular type of oil with, I don't know how much of this I believe, but it is here on my medical history stuff of they used very finely, finely ground, like almost like not amethyst but hematite dust in the oil just to give that little bit of friction for men. It's like, wow. Yes, there is jujitsu, though one of the oldest museums that I am aware of dedicated to that is actually in China. I mean, there are whole temples dedicated to it in Japan, but the oldest actual museum of erotica, all the way back to like the very first emperor, is in Japan. I have no idea about India. Let's see. Oh, history of Oh, that's okay, Bernard. We were just talking about the history of various things. I feel bad if I get a girlfriend and have babies. I might have a set of twins. Uh, hey, Justin, never be at all ashamed about being a virgin. Um, just remember that when you get somebody, be friends first, friends last. Everything else, that's what they have lube and magazines for. artificial. Ooh, I hated those things. Oh my god. Medieval virginity. Yes. Gotta check for medieval. Yes, yes, yes. Did you know that they used to um the if you ever look into the BDS, bondage, sadomasochism, that sort of things, whips, chips, chains, and chips. Um, Look at the cock holster. It's a device that doctors developed. Again, horrific, but they would, at least here in America, they were these things that they made teen boys wear. They were metal, they fit over, and it would keep the person from being able to, one, if they did get hard, the pain would keep them from getting all the way hard, and two, it would keep them from being able to actually masturbate and get off, because women, it would cure hysteria. Masturbation for men were seen to drive them insane. So they literally had these devices that they would force a teen boy to wear. Absolutely barbaric. And that was here in the US. Can you imagine what they were doing elsewhere? Ugh. One good reason to say no to Christian nationalism. Life of the sexually repressed. Oh, pollution's ring. That's what they called it. It sounds like a Rihanna song. It probably is. But yeah, no, the has anyone here not heard of the Kama Sutra? I mean, please, by all means, speak up. Do you or do you not know what the Kama Sutra is? God, what a horrid thought. Yes, what it was is it's a book. I do not remember if it was made in China or India, because a lot of that society overlaps, guys. Really did. Thanks to, I think, the Highway, Silk Road, but one of them, a leader, had one of his wives and or mistresses actually detail a book, because I think it was China, because China was okay with harems, at least a little bit better than India might have been. Anyway, he had his harem actually create a book, because they were from different areas of the kingdom, and each of them had been taught different practices according to where they were. Mongolia knew something completely different from Beijing. From, there were so many different clans and territories before everything came together, that somebody actually got all of his harem to write out the practices as they had been taught it. That became the Kama Sutra. All different sexual positions. Yeah. And it was a book that, quite honestly, went to royalty worldwide. It got sent out to everybody. Let's see. It's Kama Sutra origin. Yes. Oh, okay. I was partially right, guys. It's from Hinduism. And so it came out of India. Um, so yeah, it was all of the various things, because remember, like China, India was a huge land. And so because of that, there were many different practices throughout the land. And yeah, it was amazing. And yes, I've owned two of them. There is the original Kama Sutra. There was the modern day Kama Sutra that my parents had, which was very much graphic. You know, it was done in pencil carvings from like the 1970s. Beautiful book. And then there is a gay Kama Sutra, which no, it's really cool. Yeah, I mean, see, this is part of the things that really gets me, that I love about history, is there are things like this that were so open-minded back then that, you know, by the Victorian era were completely suppressed. And even here in America, it was illegal to see a woman naked in the dark or at daylight. I mean, you could only have sex at night, and she had to be wearing clothes. I mean, it was incredible. Think about that. How much time passed between the Kama Sutra and Edwardian Victorian England, and just how much everything had changed. You know? Yeah, a lot of people just, you know, stumbled upon it. Well,